and welcome to a brand new episode of Indie Zombie Reviews. Today we're talking about Real Evil. Real Evil is a Resident Evil clone made from the very original concept, in some way, of the original Resident Evil, made by the same maker of A Piece of Spider and all those other Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff games. This essentially is a Resident Evil ripoff with a little bit of an added twist to it. You really only have 3 different weapons. You start off with a gun, and then you get a machine gun, and then by the end of the game you get a shotgun. You have no melee weapon. And the controls are very basic. There's, you have your classic tank style controls. You press up in order to move in any direction that you're facing, and then you push left or right in order to turn, and back pushes you backwards. This takes you a while to get used to because, well, we haven't really had controls like that for a long time, and, well, for good reason. It's meant to be a survival horror type of game, but the only survival element is knowing how much ammunition you're going to have, and if you don't have enough ammunition by the end of the game, you're not going to be able to beat it. So what's the story concept of the game? Well, it's pretty simplistic. You're a robot that was in a video game made by Chris Antoni, I think. And you got pulled into the real world, his house, where he makes all of his games, and where a lot of his games tend to take place. And you have to fight skeletons and eventually robots from his other video games. And you do solve a few puzzles. The first puzzle was actually a little challenging and actually required a little bit of memory and then having to write a few things down. Afterwards, the puzzles from there are surprisingly easy. It did take me a while once I got to the second level to figure out what it was I was supposed to do. You have to shoot through the block entrance that you came through, and then you can proceed. And in fact, all throughout the second level, if you don't really use your gun at all, you can just outrun the enemies, and that's pretty much it. When I got to the final level of the game, it took me a while to beat it because I was so low on ammunition.
Warning.
And there's no way you could just go around the enemies in that particular part, because you have to get out through the front door and you have a timer because you've activated the self-destruct sequence of the house. And so you need to get out. You got about 60 seconds. What's funny is that you can actually reset the timer. There's only one save state in the entire game. It's in the same exact spot. So that can make it a little difficult. You die incredibly easily, but so do the enemies. It takes you a while, because of the Resident Evil style camera angles, it takes you a while to figure out exactly where your enemies are and if you are aiming at them properly. See, there's kind of a reason why this, in a way, style of gaming kind of died out, because it was primitive and it didn't really work. It does work for the cinematic angle, and the surviving elements, does make it interesting. But when your target is so hard to hit because you can't see them and because you can't tell if you're aiming at them properly, that's kind of where it starts to fail, and where you'll eventually start to have problems. But that can also present part of the challenge to it as well, so it's sort of a give and take, in a way. Sadly, though, this game, it's only $1, so you don't get a lot of quality. The music for it works just fine. The graphics look okay. They're pretty blocky, but I didn't find that to be too much of a deterrent. The game's ending is there's really nothing. You get out through the door, and then the game credits roll. That's it. There's really no replayability to it at all. There's nothing too special about the weapons, nothing too special all that much about the puzzles. I thought the game itself was fine. I was a little bit disappointed when I finally beat the game, and yeah, there was really nothing to it. If I had to give it a rating, I would say this game is a 6 out of 10. It's perfectly fine. It's okay to play for that one first time that you play it. it is at least something different. So, there's that. If you'd like to check it out, it is only available on the Xbox Live Indie Network. I don't know if it's also on PC. I'm pretty sure it's not on Steam. But if you'd like to take a look at it, you can check it out. And if you've seen my Let's Play of it, of my buddy Brandon and I playing it, we were enjoying it. So I would say it's an okay game. It's not terrible. So anyway, everybody, hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Indie Zombie. I'll see you next time.